Good morning, everyone. Welcome into the Spotlight Omaha podcast, where we take you around the city of Omaha, introduce you to local business owners, influential figures, and people who are making an impact on our community today. We are brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Pixel Fire Marketing is a locally owned marketing firm who specializes in website design, creating social media ads, and engaging your brand online. If your business needs help with any of that, check out pixelfiremarketing.com today. Joining me in the Pyramid Contractor studio today, DJ Soul and Donte Lee of 87.9 The Culture here in Omaha, the brand new digital radio station coming to Omaha. Soul, I want to start with you. How did this concept come about, and why was it the right time to start it?
Well, the concept came about through the history of me being on-air DJ with 106.9. Mm-hmm. Actually, it started at 107.73, then went to 106.9. And I did that for 5 years, a little bit of break, and then I went to 95.7 The Boss, program director, on-air personality there, and then moving to San Antonio. While we was in San Antonio, we all got on the lockdown. I was still programming 95.7 The Boss, digitally, right? Over the internet. And then a situation happened, so we just left that situation, right? So that happened on May 18th. On May 20th, I said to myself, you done gave your, radio, personalities to two different stations for like 10 years. Do it for yourself.
Sure.
So, but when I thought about it, okay, what are we doing here, right? Because you go get a stick, it's got to be available. FCC got to have it, the frequency available. All these things have to be in place before you even get it in the market. And when I looked it up, they're not giving any more.
It's pretty locked down, especially in the state of Nebraska. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're not giving any more sticks, and no one was selling and no one's leasing. And then that's still that's a high, economic entry to start.
Yep.
But then, you keep thinking we're in a digital world, we're in a tech world now.
Sure.
People are walking around with what they like in their pocket, be it on their phone. So I started doing my research about launching a digital radio station. So that day I found out all right, I'm gonna need my call letters, get everything legit. Got my call letters, KDJL hyphen DB, because the DB stands for digital broadcasting. Yep. Yeah. And then I'll just put the stream on. But I was listening to it by myself in 2020.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
You're the biggest fan.
Yeah, I was the biggest fan. But that was my, learning, of what do I want this to sound like? What type of programming do I want to do? What is the target audience that I wanted to attract to it? And then since I was a DJ, I knew I wanted to, highlight DJs, mixes, because DJs, they do mixes. They also do remixes, rebeats, reboots, blends.
Make music better.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They take somebody's song that may be okay and make it better, or maybe already, a hot song, but they can flip it and make it even better for the club. You know what I mean? So
how much was it a big deal for you to be able to give DJs a platform to express themselves in the way you just mentioned?
Huge, because I've always wanted, when I was doing radio at these other spots, they got who they wanted, and no other DJ could get on the radio, right? They would just hire who they hired, and that was that. But my thing is, you want to have your foundation DJs, but you also want to give highlight and spotlight to other DJs. So that's why we have a rotation called Pop-Up, right? So you can send me a mix, about 20 minutes, and a person's sitting there listening to the radio. Let's say they've been listening for about, 25 minutes, and you want to jar people. You want to keep people's attention.
Right.
And next thing you know, boom, your mix comes on for about 20 minutes and they're in a whole nother zone, having a whole nother different feeling of this great music. You know what I'm saying? So things like that are really, really, really special, because we have DJs out of Atlanta, DJs out of Texas, and of course DJs out of Omaha, Nebraska, that provide mixed content on the radio station.
Donte, what was the right time to do this in Omaha?
It kind of started with partnership. So DJ Soul had a relationship with Tyrone Shields and Keisha Shields. Behind the scenes, they got together, brought the idea to each other, and it went off from there. So I'm not sure when
that would be a me question.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Try to include everybody
on this one.
Right, no, I feel you.
But to that point, I mean, Atlanta, much different market than Omaha. Right, Texas, much different market than Omaha. Well, were people surprised to find out that this was happening in Omaha, Nebraska?
Absolutely. And we're still infantile. We're still babies, right?
Sure.
So the official app came online just last year. The stream's been up since 2020.
Yeah.
Right. But the app came online April 16th of 2023. Right. And so that in that moment is when I said, to answer your question, now is the time to do this right now. The city is kind of asleep. terrestrial radio has been sleep. Like if you've been in it, they stay behind the curve all the time.
I mean, obviously I'm interested in, we just got the digital platform up of doing stuff on camera a little over a year and a half ago.
Right.
So I mean, that's almost 10 years behind the curve in realistic sense.
When we were at 106.9, we was telling them to do this then in 2002, 2003, 2005. Like, yo, we need to go digital. We need to stream. And it was like, nah, we're not doing that. Like, that doesn't make sense to us.
Now it's everything, basically.
Right, yeah. So, the timing was perfect because you got to enter into something that is saturated, because radio is saturated.
Sure.
But digital radio isn't saturated. A lot of people having platforms, your Pandoras, Spotify's, YouTube Music, Apple Music. Those are just where people can go on and create their own library and then get an algorithm, and it becomes predictive.
Yeah.
They know what artists
Which
are going
is
to come on.
essentially what terrestrial radio is anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So with 87.9 The Culture, one of the things I get a lot is, I've never heard that song before. You don't play the same songs over and over again. And there's different moods. So you're going to get in there and listen, and your reggae will pop up, some Afro will pop up, some throwbacks, some soul music pop up, the newest things pop up, independent music will pop up, but it's all cohesive. It doesn't sound like it's just coming out of nowhere.
Sure.
It makes sense because everything has a tone, everything has a feel. And when I program music, it has to make me feel a certain way when I hear it.
That's the point of music, right?
Right, yeah. And then I have to get out of my way a lot of times, because there's music that I'm like, I would never listen to this.
Sure.
But I know why it's made and I know who it's made for.
Right.
And it'll fit. So programming is the hardest part.
The name, the culture. Obviously, it's been resonating. You have an entire night on TBS now dedicated to African American culture and stuff. Why was it the right representation for the brand you're trying to put out there?
I mean, actually, just why you just said it. Really, this is the representation of the culture, because it's always suppressed as if it's not moving.
Sure,
but it moves everything. If I don't know how straight I can be on this.
This is a conversation about life and what makes your business your business. So be as straight as you possibly can.
Right. So to give you a macro, when you think about just America,
sure,
like other nationalities have things that they control, from real estate and service and products to minerals and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And then you look at the Black community has been ostracized to even get into any of those things on purpose. But the one thing that the Black culture does move is the culture. Once Black people say, yo, that's cool, it becomes cool around the world.
Ice Cube once said, I wish white people loved Black people as much as they love Black culture. And that's something that has resonated. Listen, I grew up in North Omaha, you know, and I was often the minority in my friend group, so I can understand that. And I think we oftentimes have a conversation about the differences between white culture, Black culture, Hispanic culture, Asian culture.
Yeah.
And it's looked at as what we do differently, not what we can learn. And I think that's the process that needs to change.
And a lot of it is the same.
Yeah, 100%. That's the biggest problem.
The same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of it we do are exactly the same. But that is the thing about, 87.9 The Culture is two things. One, the Black culture. But, But the culture in turn is anybody who is in love with music and the hip hop culture. Right? It's DJ culture. Like, music is colorblind.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's really the mainstay. And when you tune it in, I'm telling you, man, people tune it in and they don't tune it off. Okay, you've been in radio. You were in radio, terrestrial radio, right? Omaha, Nebraska, because of the population and the circumference of mileage, the average person listens to terrestrial radio maybe 12 minutes, right? Because that's 20 tops if you're going from one side all the way to the other side.
Well, it kind of matters on demographic, but all encompassing, yeah.
Right, yeah. But that's on our average. Our average listening is 36 minutes.
Okay. Do you think that's because I think it's programmed in human nature to get in your car and turn on your radio if you're listening to AM, or maybe you want to get the top 40 or whatever. But if you're wanting a vibe, that's the app. That's you're at home. It's a different setting. Is that kind of what you're going for?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's exactly it, man. You're smart. So,
I've done my research.
No, that's exactly it. And see, and one thing 87.9 The Culture is, we're not here to say we're better than anyone.
Sure.
We're not here to say don't go listen to 106.9 or 95.7 The Boss or 1620 or whatever it is.
Please do.
We're saying, hey, we're an option.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Donte, what's your role in 87.9 the culture, and how do you want to see yourself grow in with this company and then the process?
That's a good question, Don.
Yeah, man. So for me, I want to say I'm behind the scenes kind of person. So, of course, with we got Soul has a lot of support. We're behind the scenes as far as planning, prepping for the next event, and other things that we can do as a team to bring the 87.9 the culture to the community.
When we talk about the process of creating radio, you got to have listeners, you got to have sales, right? You got to have people that are sponsoring. What does that process look like up until this point?
To be honest with you, man, we know a lot of people here. We connect with a lot of people. We got a lot of support. Of course, one of the things we want to do is get people to download the app. But of course, with downloading, it's kind of like selling a product.
Sure.
In order for your audience to know what their product is, you got to go out there and sell it. So go out there to the people, get into the community, explain to them what 87.9 is, how can they get access to it, where do they go to download, and so forth. Once we jump into the community, people start knowing who we are. They start seeing faces. They start seeing the 87.9 the culture brand, and it kind of just takes off from there. Yeah.
Did you bring him one? Huh? Did you bring him a T-shirt?
I did not.
No.
I did not.
Man, we're friends, man.
See, I put that on you.
I might have one for you, actually. So.
We're catching up with DJ Soul and Donte Lee here of 87.9 The Culture here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing inside the Pyramid Contractor. Soul, Donte brought it up, events, pushing the app and getting it in front of people. What do events in Omaha look like coming up, and you guys have anything on the docket that people can attend?
Our thing is to make the most top-tier events that we can possible.
Sure.
And
what does that look like, though? Is
an
that
experience?
Are you more worried about the vibe of it or the name on the marquee?
No, it's got to be the experience of it all,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
But it all go hands in hand. That's a good question, because the name on the marquee is 87.9 The Culture, right? If you go to that because of 87.9 The Culture, you're expecting to get something out of it, and that's the experience. Let's say you've never even heard of it, and you got drugged to it by a friend,
Sure.
right?
It's a good
then
friend.
you go you go in there like, I don't even know what this is, but you have a great experience. I want to download that. I want to meet the owner personality. I want to, be a part of this movement. And so that's the thing, because being in the community, as Donte said, and creating our events, no matter how small, we're trying to make it an experience. We should have came to our open house, man. What's up with that?
Yeah.
Honestly, I saw the pictures, and that's why I ended up reaching out.
Oh,
because
really? Okay.
I did not get drugged by a friend, so I've got bad friends apparently. I mean, it's one of those things that the photographs that you guys have put out there, it's got a different vibe about everything we've kind of seen in Omaha up until this point.
So is that how you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Power of social media.
That's man. But that's.
We know each other, but I didn't know that this was something that was coming that was been in the works, and that's an interesting point, because you mentioned, hey, this was you 4 years ago in a room by yourself doing this and getting things started off. What have been some of the biggest hurdles up until this point? You kind of talked a little bit about trying to find a signal and all that, but from just a digital standpoint, and maybe from a technology standpoint, what have been some of the hurdles, and what are some of the hurdles you see going forward?
The first hurdle would be finding the right stream host, because there are a lot of them out there.
Sure.
Right. And what they offer is totally different. Bandwidth means how many people can be on there at the exact same time.
Sure.
Right. So you got some that have a bandwidth, but the price that you have to pay per month just, to me, didn't match up. Like, that's a lot of money for just 1,000 people to be on at the same time.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I ended up, searching around. I found a company out of Europe. I think they're in London.
I believe you.
Anyway, they're out of Europe. So I like what they had with their plans of the bandwidth, how many people, how many terabytes I get, how much storage of music I can put in there. So that was the first thing. The second thing was when I told myself, well, if we're going to be a real digital radio, we got to compete with those who are out here. So what terrestrial is doing, they go from terrestrial, now they're coming to digital, right?
Sure.
But they still have the capital.
I don't mean to cut you off. Do you feel like that's competition for you? Like, maybe competition is the wrong word, but do you feel like you're in the same box as terrestrial radio, or do you guys feel like what you're trying to do is completely different? It's apples to oranges.
It is totally different.
Okay.
But it's not apples to oranges, because we all are going after the same.
That's more what I was
ear,
asking. Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
So I just want people to say, oh, you know what? Let me check them out. Go wherever you like. Do not stop your favorite radio station.
Sure.
I just ask, just give us a shot. Yeah. Just make us an option. Download it, and make us an option. You know what I mean?
Because when we talk about business, I think a lot of people who aren't entrepreneurs or who aren't business owners or have never dabbled in it see the business world as this dog eat dog world. Everybody's cutthroat now to get each other. And the one thing that's been a common theme, this is episode 179 of this podcast, is that doesn't seem to be the response from the business owner. It feels like there's enough out there for everybody, for everybody to at least get some. And most people don't want the most; they just want a lot, right?
Right.
And when we're talking about the sales portion of this, just from my ear and my understanding, it feels like the sales pitch would be completely different than your terrestrial radio, because we're not trying to give you your, hey, here's the weather update and the traffic is this. It's no, you're going to come here and you're going to get the same experience every single time. Is that kind of the sales pitch to people that want to sponsor the station?
Yes, you're definitely in the room. But on top of that, I had to make the distinction between, all right, you're digital and you offer different verticals. So you can offer the audio by spots, boom, it plays in a stop set commercials, right? But we're an app where you can put up your digital banners. You can put up a global banner that's a slim one. You can put up the on the homepage that's a square. And if you hit the player, boom, like OPPD, shout out to OPPD, there are
keep it local. Keep it local.
Yep. They came in and believed in it before I even partnered with Donte and Tyrone and Keisha. Right, and they just believed it, and I had to have about 3 WebEx calls with them, to get that in, and they just believed it. Shout out to Jamie for making that happen. So with that, you go on there, so now people can listen, and then they can hot link. Oh, what is this flyer? What is this talking about? And they just hit it. And it just send them to wherever you give me that URL at, right? Okay. Then you add on the fact that just like this, it's being shown on Facebook, right? So you have a social media component, the TikToks, the Instagram, and all these different things that you can offer in your sponsorship package. Not only that, the experience, because we have a street team, 87.9, the coach of ladies that go to events. They, they got the brand on the energy and things like that. So if people want to do grand openings, they got product launches, holler at us. We can take care of it from the top to the bottom.
That's a great point. How can people get a hold of you?
Business at 87.9 The Culture.
All right. Donte, is there a certain way they can get a hold of you if they wanted to talk to you about maybe being involved, creating an event, coming to it as well? Or is that the best way to get a hold of you also?
That'd be the best way to get a hold of us in general. Of course, we got our own individual Facebook pages. Sure. Mine is Donte Lee on Facebook.
You're tagged in all posts here?
Yep.
Sorry, we're not friends yet, so we'll get you there, though.
I do have people that do reach out that I'm friends with on Facebook.
What has been the most frequently asked question you've been asked about this station since you became a part of it? What are people asking you about?
More so to, what is it that I do? What is 87.9 The Culture? Some people don't quite know what digital is yet. Sure. They try to find us on the actual station. I'd explain to them the difference between traditional radio station and the digital app is that where you go, we go.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's the advantage of having the digital station.
Is it possible at this young point of the venture to have an appreciation for how readily available it is now? I think we think about our phones now. It's just always there. It always for guys our age, it always hasn't been like that. Right. In the advent of social media, you just talked about TikTok. TikTok's not even 5 years old yet.
Not even, right.
And it's one of those things that you can create a business like this and you can be everywhere. Can you have an appreciation for that yet? Is that something that you
no, I absolutely have an appreciation for it. Because it leveled the playing field for us smaller people.
Sure.
Right? When you want to be an entrepreneur, you put up a good app and or website, no one knows if you're sitting in your basement or you in a high-rise building in New York. No one knows. But that presentation on that internet or that app or that website needs to present well. It has to be user friendly, and you have to deliver whatever it is your product is or your service is. Yeah. So because you can't get behind that. I don't care where you are. I don't care how big you are, how small you are. If you're delivering and you're not delivering what you're promising, then you're going to lose every time.
Yeah, presentations, everything too.
We're catching up with DJ Soul and Donte Lee here of 87.9 The Culture on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing inside the Pyramid Contractor Studio. I want to ask you both this question because I feel like the answer is going to be different from both of you. What does it mean for you to, Donte, we'll start with you. What does it mean for you to be an entrepreneur and starting a business basically at the ground level and help grow it?
For me, it's overwhelming. I mean, I have great people around me. Definitely a pleasure to work with DJ Mr. Soul here and our other partners with 87.9. So it's still a learning experience for me. I'm definitely overwhelmed with joy, excitement, all the above. So I'm still on cloud 9 right now, to be honest. But going to your question, you just learn. You know, you trust the process. You come together, you stick together, work together. Of course, there's going to be disagreements, but we sit down at the round table. Doesn't change anything. And that's the great thing about it is everyone at the table present an ideal.
Sure.
We all have different ideals and different things that we are good at. So we bring that together as a whole. We're able to create great ideals and work together. So
same question for you. What does it mean for you? Obviously, you were at the ground level of this stuff, but what does it mean for you to kind of have, obviously, when you're a part of other successful stations, you help building that. It's not necessarily your own. This is pretty much your own thing. How does it feel for you to be able to grow this thing?
This in particular feels amazing, and even more amazing when I got with the partners. But as far as the entrepreneur side, once I said I want to be a professional DJ in 94, I haven't had a job.
Yeah.
Like my turntables, like I like to say, it put my daughter through college.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So being an entrepreneur, but I've only had to sell me, right?
It's easy to do,
DJ,
right?
Right, yeah. So, and then reinvent yourself. You know what I'm saying? Figure out what it's going to be. And so now with this junction here with 87.9 The Culture, it was saying, you know what, drop every single thing you have in your head and only concentrate on this. So once I listen to God tell me that.
He's usually right, by the way.
Right. Once I listen to God tell me that, it's been like the fire, the rocket. To me, the rocket hasn't taken off yet.
Sure.
But the
Fuse is lit.
Yeah. The whole when it's sitting there going and it's smoldering smoke. That's where we're at, man. So being an entrepreneur, you have to not be afraid to fail. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Most people, as soon as it look ugly, let me go to the safety net and get a job.
I've brought this up, but I seen this meme on the internet a couple months ago, and it just sticks with me. And being a business owner, you have to be comfortable in situations that would break most people.
Yeah.
And that's 100% what it is. I want to ask about, you mentioned you have a daughter. You guys are both fathers. Donte, when we're talking about paying the bills, being a dad, being an entrepreneur, building a brand, starting a business, how do you balance all of it?
I'm not sure if I got an answer for you.
Yeah, that's usually the answer I get, by the way. Yeah. We're still looking for the secret sauce. So.
Everybody has a thing that they do.
Sure, it's different for everybody.
Yep, and then we all have our own situations. So I'm also married.
Yeah.
So my wife, Rosa, she allows me to be able to do these things while she hold the fork down at home.
Sure.
So if there's things that I can't do, be available for, she knows I'm out there grinding, I'm out there
difficult for you?
working. It's a challenge.
Sure.
I'm not going to say it's difficult for her because if it is,
For you, is it difficult for
I
you?
can't tell.
Is it difficult for you to not
Self-consciously,
to not be,
it's difficult at times because you trying to put yourself in all these different places. You want to be everywhere. Be there for your what you're doing. Be there for your kids, for your family. So it's definitely a challenge to balance those things out.
Not sure what just happened with our TVs here. Sorry about that. So same question for you. I mean, you've been doing this, like you said, for the better part of 3 decades now, and so you got a little more experience. But I feel like the answer is not going to be too much different. How do you balance?
That's definitely different.
Yeah, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't hard for me.
Really?
Nah.
Yeah. Is it difficult for you at night to turn your phone off and kind of disconnect from what you're trying to build?
That part.
Yeah. Okay.
That part can be a little difficult because because my brain is always moving.
Sure.
Right. And you coming up with different ideas or you want questions to things and you're like, man, it's 11 o'clock at night, man, chill, go to sleep. But as far as the family part is the fact that I gathered my tribe.
Sure.
This is what we're going to do. This is what we're not going to do.
Yeah.
Are you on board? Okay, then let's go. This is how this thing's going to work. But they know I show up all the time, regardless. I'm going to be there.
How much do they have an appreciation for 87.9?
I don't think they do.
Really?
Yeah, I'm seriously like your closest people. They're so close to
That's
you
why
they
I
can't
asked,
see.
by the way. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When they get the appreciation is when somebody they don't know seeing
something
it,
to them,
listening to it, or whatever. They're like, wait a minute, that's dad's, or
Sure.
you know what I'm saying? That's my brother's.
Yeah.
And then you'll get a call. Hey, you know what I'm
pretty
saying?
great,
I'm checking you out. Like I've been doing this since 2020. Why you just now checking me out?
Thanks for joining the circle. Donte, same question for you. How much of appreciation do your kids have for what dad does?
I mean, they appreciate everything that I do.
Sure.
They all know I'm extremely busy.
They vocalize it.
I mean, not sometimes. It's mixed. They're kids.
Kids are so
they're
ungrateful.
kids. They all doing their own thing.
Sure.
But they definitely understand that I am a busy person.
Yeah.
I do the best that I can. So I do what I need to do on the father side, and I do what I need to do in the business end too. So
And again, same question for both of you. So you get a little bit of cheat here because I'm asking first. What defines success for you under the 87.9 brand?
Damn, that's a hell of a question.
So I may view it differently than most people. Success to me is what myself as an individual can be able to continue to contribute to the team.
Sure.
So I need to make sure I'm putting that time in, the effort, bringing the ideals to the table, participating, and so forth. So I, as an individual, need to continue doing the things I need to do to help us grow as a whole. And the same, for those as part of the team individually, we all bring our individual skills to the table. We all, sacrifice something. So
Rose is getting a lot of
me
love in the comments section right now, by the way. So tell her to check out Facebook.
But to continue to come together, grow, everything's a learning experience. Everything you learn from, you got to be teachable.
Sure.
So to me, that's success.
It's the whole same question. What defines success for you personally underneath the brand?
Happiness. I got to do it. I wouldn't do it if it didn't make me happy.
Sure.
Now that I have a team of people, my goal is to make sure they're happy as well. So as long as we keep growing and we keep communicating with each other, we're going to be all right. But that is the main word. You put happy in any subject, you're going to be all right. So as long as people are being happy and we're growing, they're getting what they want out of it, helping people, giving back to the community, interns coming in and taking off and doing their own thing. Like, come use this as a platform. We want to help you grow.
That feels like the biggest
You know
deal
what I'm
for you.
saying?
Is that the biggest part for you, is to be able to give people their own platform?
Yeah. Come through, but you got to work. A lot of people think that you coming in here and it's just going to be easy and they can do it. No, we work.
Yep.
When I get this, anybody listening, I know a few people have sent me this message. Don't take it personally, but I get, how do I start a podcast? How do I get into sports talk radio? How do I do what you do? And I always tell people, you can't have an appreciation for how time consuming it is until you're in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think, hey, I can listen to Alyssa's mix from 2 to 6, and I could do that.
Right.
Hey, I could create my own set when I in my free time. Well, it's your job, and you got to do it every day, and you got to be accountable for it. And you're helping writing checks to pay people's bills. It's a little bit different. I always tell people, if you're planning on starting a podcast, getting into radio, don't plan on making any money anytime soon, and then build from there.
Right.
When you first started doing this and doing, again, it's a lot different from 94 to today, but were you surprised with how much time it takes to create a mix, to actually dedicate when you're not on the air to doing the job? Was that a big hurdle for you?
Tedious.
One, you have great questions. Like you did good pre-production before we got here. So I got to think about that.
Sure.
Because I can say no, but that'd be kind of a not full truth. Only because I've been doing it so long.
The learning curve was easy for you.
Right. Like I was doing things that I was doing and learning things that I didn't even know what I was doing and learning until I got put in this position.
Somebody asked you the question, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, man.
How many hours? Let me rephrase the question. How many hours do you put
24
in?
hours a day, 7 days a week.
There you go.
Outside when I sleep.
That's the answer I was looking for.
Outside of when I sleep. Yeah. If you're saying that doing this doesn't stop, right?
Sure.
Especially, when you have to, be the face of it, be one of the leaders of the team, in front of the camera, behind the camera, in the DJ booth, behind the DJ booth, like teaching people, going through training, and then like the programming, that part does not stop.
Yeah.
Like I'll be listening. Oh, am I supposed to take that song out? I got to get there, go behind the scenes, get that song, take it out, right? But since I have I want to keep my playlist is in the hundreds per category.
Sure.
Right? So,
that's in case anybody's wondering and not a big music fan, that's a lot.
That's a lot. You know what I mean? And then trying to find that next song, artist, be it independent, be it national, the mix, the DJs, like now I got to go through imaging.
Sure.
Right? I got to, write out
Feel free to take my face off everything.
No, I'm talking about the audio imaging. So I got to send the whole thing over to our imaging guy for, Ray Beta DJs. He's going to be doing a
What's
month,
the imaging
Monday.
guy's name?
Reggie.
Shout out to Reggie. Okay. Just trying to give everybody love we can.
Yeah. Shout out to Reggie. And then we have, she has her show, so she has her own imaging. We got Tristan Tripp. He has his show on Fridays. He has his own imaging. I got to do the whole global imaging. I got new imaging to do, so I got to write all this stuff and send it in. Oh, but by the way, don't forget you got a show to do Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m.
And you got calls before that.
All that thing. You know what I'm saying? So
this may be a stupid question. If it is, feel free to let me know.
There's no such thing.
I'm a sports guy. I'm not a music guy. I love music. I have zero musical talent in my body. Is there a Super Bowl of DJing? If there's maybe it's like Coachella or
DMC.
whatever. But okay, all right, gotcha.
The DMC Championship. Well, for high level battle DJs, it's the DMC Championship. And guess what? You know why it's so dope? You know why that question is the best question?
Sorry,
I like that.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But anyway, DJ RC3.
Okay.
He won the Texas Regional for the DMC Championship. Then he goes to the National. He wins that. This kid is only 16 years old. One of the best DJs that you'll ever see when it comes to high level scratching and juggling, mixing. Like, he's just crazy. He is on 87.9 The Culture every Saturday.
Nice.
At 12. So for you to ask that question,
the Tom Brady of DJ.
Come on,
87.9 The Culture.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so you can tap into him, man.
He's
so,
16.
16.
That's incredible.
Ridiculous. Like,
That's
there's
awesome,
different, DJs do different things, man. But for all around DJ, man, that kid, is phenomenal.
Guys, we're a little bit over on the time we like to go. This has been such a great conversation. I didn't want to stop it. Is there anything about 87.9 The Culture we haven't mentioned that people should know?
Yeah. If you've just now heard of it, download it.
Sure, please.
Go to Apple, Android, very simple.
The Apple link is scrolling across the bottom of your screen where you can download it right now. Click it, it'll take you there. You can download the app. Yeah. Gentlemen, I really appreciate this. This is a great conversation. I'm excited about the brand, excited to see where it grows to. Don't forget to follow 87.9 The Culture on all of your social medias. Download the app today. We'll be back tomorrow at 11 talking to a new entrepreneur that's also just now starting their business as well. We're going to get their take on how they're affecting the Omaha community and more here on the Spotlight Omaha podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing inside the Pyramid Contractor Studio. We'll see you tomorrow at 11.